Hello, and welcome back to Tech Tuesday. Today we're going to talk a little bit about Google Notebook LM. Google Notebook LM is a tool that's primarily used to research and summarize a lot of information. It's something that you might see a little bit more often in maybe a college course or something like that, but it does have some applications for teaching middle school that are pretty cool. Let's say, for example, that you're teaching a history unit about the Civil War or about one of the presidents, Andrew Jackson, or something like that. You can actually do a search, go through a bunch of different websites, summarize all that information, pull out flashcards, and use a lot of that with your students. I have a little example here with sentence fragments, which I'm teaching my students right now or reviewing with them before we get into state testing. And so I kind of walk through it with that, but it really has applications for a lot of different subjects, whether it's history, science, math. It's a really fast and easy way to use AI to enhance your searching and kind of put together a portfolio of information that you can use later. Let's take a look at how to do that. I'll click on Notebook, and then I'm going to go ahead and click on Create New Notebook. So it's going to tell me, what am I looking for? Right now I'm teaching about sentence fragments. And so I've typed that in. It's going to go ahead and search for a couple of different sources that I can actually use. So I'm going to go ahead and just unselect all of these first. Take a look at some that look like they're more appropriate for middle school. I see that we've got some upper elementary ones here. If we're talking about 7th and 8th graders, this probably works. I'll go ahead and check that. I'm going to go ahead and look at a few other ones here. Here's a Wayground quiz that actually has some sentence fragments in it. So that would be okay. I'll scroll down a little bit more, click on that. Here I'll scroll through. I've got a PDF about sentence fragments. I'll click on that. Again, you're going to want to check these. Some of these you can actually just tell by the name. Some of these you might want to investigate a little bit further. So it'll actually take all of these sources and put together a notebook. And I can use this notebook with other teachers. I can share it directly with students, or I can actually just take some of the parts of this notebook and actually use this in order to teach sentence fragments. I'm going to go ahead and rename this so I can find it a little bit more easily. Just title it Sentence Fragments for right now. And I can actually begin a chat. And this might be helpful for individual students. It might be something that you can kind of use as part of a unit of study. And it'll actually give me links and things like that that I can kind of use as I lesson plan. I can share it with students. So here I'll kind of save this to a note on the side. Think of it almost as kind of like using sticky notes as part of a bigger curriculum or something like that. Now I can generate an infographic here too based on all of the knowledge that I use. This might be something I can share directly with students. I can print it up. I can put it on my Google Classroom, use it as part of a review. This does take a little bit of time. And so I'm generating the infographic right here. I've actually sped this up so you can kind of see it. All right, I'll go ahead and I'll click on this. I've clicked on that. Here's the infographic that it's generated. And so this helps my visual learners. It could also be something kind of like, I know that Jessica talked about anchor charts. This is not quite the same thing, but it's something I could kind of refer back to throughout a lesson, depending on what I'm using. And I can actually go and kind of modify this a little bit if I need to by going back to the chat. The chat is like this constant back and forth that I'm kind of having as I'm maybe going through my unit. I'm going to say, you know what, could you maybe make the infographic a little bit more appropriate for 7th and 8th graders, or use some of the language that might be a little more helpful. So I've taken that, I've gotten my information, I'm making a new infographic here. And again, this will actually generate, it takes a little bit of time to generate that. And it'll ask me, hey, you know what? This is good, but would you like any other resources on this? I could ask it for quiz. I could actually ask it for flashcards. I'm going to go ahead and say, you know what? Flashcards sound pretty good. This is going to help my students to review. I'll click on the flashcards. Again, this takes a little bit of time to generate. It'll say that it's generated flashcards. It's using the Awubis conjunctions. I can ask it for a quiz as well, which is what I'm doing here. And now I have a set of flashcards that I can use, and I can actually share these with students by downloading those. But we'll talk a little bit more about how to do that next time and how to look at some of the other things that have been generated in our notebook. Thank you for watching this edition of Tech Tuesday. If you have any questions or something you'd like to be covered in the future, let me know.